Breaking news coming in. Iran has escalated its rhetoric and its battlefield messaging with a dramatic new claim. Tehran now claims that its missiles have struck near the office of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu during a massive retaliatory barrage. According to Iranian state media, the strike was part of a large-scale missile operation targeting what it described as a critical Israel center. Multiple missile salvos have struck across Israel, causing damage and injuries, particularly in northern regions. By claiming a strike near Prime Minister Netanyahu's office, Iran is sending a message beyond physical damage, it seems. It is signaling to project vulnerability at the highest level of Israeli leadership. That is, of course, if this report is true. By claiming a strike near Netanyahu's office, Iran is sending a message beyond physical damage. It is signaling to project vulnerability at the highest level of Israeli leadership. Israel also said it had killed Gholam Reza Soleimani, head of the Revolutionary Guard's Basij paramilitary force, in a precise strike. However, Tehran hasn't confirmed the death of Larijani so far. Both Israel and Iran have increased the intensity of attacks on each other. Of course, that was breaking news coming in. According to Iran state media, Iran is now claiming that it has struck near the office of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. We haven't heard from the Israelis nor the Americans about this as of yet. We'll bring you all the latest as we get more information on this. All right. For more on all of this and what's happening in the Middle East, we are now being joined by Mr. Nader Hashemi. He's an associate professor of Middle East and Islamic politics at Georgetown University. He's joining us live from Washington. Professor, welcome back to WION. There were recent reports by some media outlets here in the United States that U.S. intelligence says Iran's government is not at risk of collapse. What are your thoughts on that and these reports coming out, again, assuming they're accurate from the intelligence agencies here in the United States?
Those reports strike me as being accurate and no surprise to anyone who knows anything about the nature of the Islamic Republic of Iran and the resiliency of its authoritarian regime. Unfortunately, a lot of people in Washington, D.C. and in some Middle East capitals believe that Iran is like Libya or Iraq or Syria under the one-man dictatorships that ruled those countries for a very long time. And if you just sort of assassinate the top person, the entire authoritarian edifice will collapse. That's not how it works in Iran. All authoritarian regimes are not the same. This is a authoritarian regime in Iran that has been deeply institutionalized. It has many layers, and it does have a core basis, a small but loyal basis of support within society. So, this is not a regime that's going to collapse overnight. If anything, my reading is it's getting stronger because there is a growing perception that the country is under assault from external aggressors, and nationalism, as we're seeing, is starting to kick in. So no surprise to these intelligence reports. They make perfect sense to me.
Very interesting. And I think there's a misconception sometimes, not always, that the IRGC is just some military force inside the country. It's really embedded in all sectors of society, economic and otherwise. And you're absolutely right. It will be very hard. And it's not like other countries that the United States and Israel have dealt with. I want to get your thoughts on this latest report that we're getting. Iran claims that it has hit near the office of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Do you see this as sort of a psychological warfare? Is Iran able to do that? How much damage could it really inflict right now with what it has in hand?
I suspect it's a response to reports that we received this morning that Ali Larijani, one of the senior leaders of the Islamic Republic, who has effectively been running the country since this war began, had been assassinated. And so Iran is responding by claiming it's hitting the office of the Israeli Prime Minister. It's unclear whether Iran has the military capability and precision in its missiles to hit such a specific target in Israel. So I read that as, yes, psychological warfare, but also a response to what seems like a major blow to the Islamic Republic, where the figure of Ali Larijani has been killed. And so, as I said a moment ago, that's not going to make much of a difference because this is an authoritarian regime that does have institutional depth and many layers in society. Um, so we're still in the early days of this war, it looks like, unfortunately, and I suspect more of this type of back and forth between Israel and the United States is going to continue.
Uh, to borrow a phrase from the Wall Street Journal editorial board, do you think the war against Iran, at least for President Trump, is going to come down to the battle of the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, look, when it comes to Donald Trump, one always has to sort of qualify what one says because he's so unpredictable. But yes, it seems like a lot of what's happening right now um, is revolving around the Strait of Hormuz. That's where Iran has a lot of leverage, and that's specifically the strategy of the Islamic Republic. It's pursuing asymmetric warfare. It doesn't have the capabilities of matching the American and Israeli firepower, and so it's trying to destabilize not just regional politics, but critically the global economy. And you can tell by Donald Trump's statements, particularly the news conference he held yesterday, he knows he's vulnerable. And that's why he's calling on other countries to come and aid the United States to open the Straits of Hormuz. Um, and it's an open question whether that can actually be done in any sort of meaningful or sufficient way. So I think, yes, focusing on this particular narrow body of water is going to sort of shape the future of this conflict and it will determine what direction this war is going to head in.
Professor Hashemi, thank you so much for joining us on WION. I look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Thanks.